6 empires. Hundreds of millions of lives lost. And the deadliest one isn't who you'd guess. We're going to count them down, from number 6 all the way to number 1. And by the end, I want you to decide for yourself. A quick note before we begin. These numbers are estimates. Historians genuinely disagree, because death from war, famine, and disease across centuries is almost impossible to count precisely. We'll use the most widely cited ranges. This isn't about blame. It's about understanding the sheer scale of history. Let's begin. Number 6. We start with one of the longest-lasting empires in history, the Ottoman Empire. At its height, it commanded immense armies and laid siege to some of the greatest cities on Earth. It ruled across 3 continents for over 600 years. Across that vast span, centuries of warfare and upheaval are estimated to have cost millions of lives. Its most documented modern tragedy, in the early 20th century, remains one of the most painful and politically debated chapters in all of history. But the Ottomans were also, for long stretches, known for remarkable cultural exchange and coexistence. A reminder that no empire is ever just a single story. Number 5 is the one almost nobody learns about in school. Deep in the heart of Africa lies the vast Congo rainforest. In the late 1800s, this wasn't even a nation's empire. It was the private property of a single man, King Leopold II of Belgium. He personally owned the entire Congo region as a business venture, built on rubber. Under his brutal quota system, historians estimate the population fell by around 10 million people over roughly 2 decades. The story was so disturbing that an international outcry eventually forced it out of his hands. And yet, to this day, his name is missing from most history books. Number 4. Timur, also known as Tamerlane, a 14th century conqueror from Central Asia. From his glittering capital of Samarkand, he built an empire of breathtaking beauty and brutal ambition. In just a few decades of campaigns, his conquests are estimated to have caused around 17 million deaths, close to 5% of the world's population at the time. The great city of Delhi was left so devastated, it reportedly took a century to recover. Yet today, outside of history circles, his name is almost forgotten, overshadowed by the conqueror he modeled himself on, who is coming up later in this list. At number 3, the empire we romanticize the most. Rome. Behind the marble and the glory stood the most disciplined war machine the ancient world had ever seen. Over roughly 5 centuries of expansion, Rome's wars of conquest are estimated to have cost tens of millions of lives. The same civilization that gave us roads, law, and concrete also expanded through relentless conquest. A single campaign in Gaul, led by Julius Caesar, may have claimed around 1 million lives. The dual legacy of nearly every great power in history. Number 2 is the name you were probably expecting. The Mongol Empire. In the 13th century, under Genghis Khan and his successors, it grew into the largest connected land empire ever to exist. Historians estimate its conquests are linked to between 40 and 70 million deaths. By some estimates, around 10% of the entire world's population at the time. And here's the detail almost no one tells you. As populations fell and farmland was abandoned, forests regrew across Asia, absorbing so much carbon that scientists believe it briefly cooled the global climate. An empire so vast, it left a mark on Earth's atmosphere itself. And at number 1, a result that surprises almost everyone. The British Empire. At its height, it covered a quarter of the planet's land. The largest empire in human history. Its navy ruled the seas, and it was said the sun never set on British soil. While Britain is often remembered for industry, science, and law, historians also link its centuries of colonial rule, wars, and especially devastating famines to an enormous human cost. Serious estimates range widely, into the tens, and by some accounts over 100 million lives. Heavily debated, and spread across a vast period. But by scale of population affected, many researchers place it at the very top. So, 6 empires, 6 staggering numbers. But comparing them is almost impossible. Some deaths came from war, others from famine, others from disease, across time spans from 20 years to 6 centuries. That is exactly why historians still argue about it. So now it's your turn. Which empire do you think was truly the worst? Tell me in the comments. Because the sad truth is this: every empire is remembered for what it built and for its glory, but it forgets what it cost and how many lives were lost to build it. Subscribe to Phandoro Explorers and keep questioning history. And before you go, if you enjoyed this journey, please subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories from history and science.